of flight if you go flying, if it's not something where you have lightning in your veins when you get to fly, then I don't want to say waste your time. I think really, really carefully if you want to devote that much time to it. If you, let's say, no military flight experience, let's say military is not an option for you or you don't want to take that route, the only way to go airlines at that point, you need 1,500 hours of flight time at, $100, $150 an hour, or you could become a CFI and train people for a couple of years. But you're talking probably the better part of 5 years and the better part of $200,000 to start from scratch. And if it's something you want to do for a career, it's an extremely lucrative career. There are a lot of good options. That's not necessarily just because it costs $200,000 to get into does not mean that you shouldn't do it. Or I guess probably closer to $100,000 with the right program if you shop around and do it right. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that you got to love it. You got to be passionate about it if it's something that you want to do. And I say that to not try and discourage anyone. Again, I would never try and discourage somebody from something that worked for me. So I've had people that ask me, like, hey, should I join the military? And I was like, that's definitely something you need to think about for yourself. I can't make that decision for you. But it did work for me. I joined the military when I was homeless at 19 years old. Ended up meeting a friend, meeting a guy who was in the Air National Guard based out of Fresno, the 144 Fighter Wing. And he had just gotten his the second half of his sign-on bonus. And so me sitting there about to pay for lunch with quarters, completely broke, hadn't slept inside or showered in the better part of a week. And this guy's like paying for everybody's meal, and I'm like, hey, how at 20 years old do you have enough money to pay for everybody's lunch? And he's like, oh, I just got my bonus from the Air National Guard, and it just clicked. And I was like, that's how I turn this around. And so once I got some stability, got a little money under my belt, got some work ethic, a little more work ethic, was able to find a good job, finish college down in Southern California as I was chasing that F-15 slot. When I decided I wanted to fly really bad. Interviewed for the F-15 slot several years in a row, 3 years in a row there, and just kept getting rejected. But by that point, I had already gotten bitten by it. The bug had got me, so I wanted to fly. Made that decision early on, so then I was like, all right, what's it going to take to fly? And financing flight lessons was never on the agenda for me. Like I did not want to have to finance flight lessons. I know how expensive it is. I knew then how expensive it is. It wasn't one of those things that made sense from where I was at, finishing college, finishing my master's degree, to then turn around and then spend an additional $100,000 on flight lessons. So I was pursuing any option that would pay me to learn how to fly, which in my case was the military. So the military gave me a lot of really great stability, a lot of really great direction. And in some ways, once you sign your name on that paper, they're going to send you through it whether or not you still want to. Which, if you're one of those people that has a hard time following through, that can help because you're not really given an option at that point. Your hand gets forced, and ironically enough, it gets forced in a really good way. You get forced to do what's best for you in your life. So if you have any questions about joining the military, about military aviation, the Warrant Officer Training Program with the Army, flying helicopters, flying fixed wing, going to college, getting your master's degree, I can try and answer some of those questions on some of these videos. Again, don't know how popular any of these are going to be. I could just be up here talking to myself, but hey, it'll keep me busy. So, yeah, once we do that, 7 miles away. Let's actually call up Wood Lake traffic 1229. And Wood Lake traffic, Grumman November 1551 Romeo is 8 miles to the south, going to be coming in for landing. Wood Lake traffic. Alrighty, so what we're looking at right now is we're looking to build up a little bit of speed, kind of killed the engine a little too hard there. So Wood Lake Airport should be directly in front of us here. So Wood Lake is an interesting airport, very, very short runway. It's a 2,200 foot runway at 425 feet, so the elevation's not much, which is good. 2,200 foot runway is pretty short. This plane needs 1,600 feet to land. That being said, that being considered, I am definitely not as nervous as if I had tried this on my own without the CFI. So the CFI came in with me, we did this landing, we landed, we refueled at Wood Lake in order to endorse me for the solo. So yeah, so if that was something I was coming in on my own, never having landed here before, I might be a little bit more nervous. Shorter runway, don't know anything about it, and especially now that I know, like, it's a very bumpy runway. Not nicely paved.
Traffic, House 624 November Delta, turning left base for runway 30, Shaft.
Not a good runway at all. Hopefully something that somebody is thinking about fixing soon. But that's, you know, not a safe bet. In Wood Lake, there's like half a dozen aircraft that fly there every year, so you know, they're probably not looking to invest any money into it at all. Got a little private airport down here on the left in Exeter. That's kind of cool. I wonder what the flying in and out of there would take. That actually looks nicer than Wood Lake, which is the municipal airport. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Chapter traffic, House 624 November Delta, turning final for runway 30, Chapter.
All right, so we how's that showing me 20 minutes? I cannot be 20 minutes away. I literally can't be 20 minutes away. I think I can see it from here. Alright, so that's Rocky Hill. Weird. Alright, come through 2,300 feet. Rocky Hill. It wouldn't be a 20-minute drive if I was only in a car going 60 from this point, so it's strange to me how that could be saying that I'm 20 minutes out. This airport has got a lot of trees around it, so it's all things to consider coming in and landing out of here. Got to get a really decent approach run going because you need